Okay, so here I am editing my first clip. I've just imported my first raw shot and I've dragged it down into the editing bar. So now I'm just going to use the blade tool to cut out where the clip actually starts and finishes, so taking out where the clapperboard is and making it about 10 seconds because that's all I need really. So now what I'm going to do is add a draw mask, and I'm just going to start adding the key points onto Becca's eye. Right, so now I'm just going to click invert mask so it makes her eye black. And then now what I'm doing is just moving all of the key points into place around her eye. And then adding a keyframe. So now I've moved on to the next frame and I'm just putting all the key points in place again, just so that they fit to her eye. And then now I'm going to carry on doing this for the whole rest of the video. So now that I've done all of her right eye, I'm going to go ahead and do the same for her left. So now this is what the full thing looks like with her right eye in place. And here's what it looks like with both eyes. So now I'm going to go ahead and edit the background. So first of all, I'm going into colours and I'm just adding black behind the shot. And this is because I need her eyes to stay black. So now I'm adding a draw mask onto the black background and cutting around her eyes and the blue stripes on her face as they came out a bit too green on camera. And then I'm adding a Kia onto the green screen shot and importing a background of a space station that I found on the internet. And I'm taking this image of the space station and adding it in behind her. So now what I need to do is, because she moves her face slightly, I need to move the mask that I've put on the black background. I need to just move that in time to as she moves her face. So now that I've got the mask moving on Becca's face properly, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on to my picture of my space station. And I'm just choosing which blur filter I want to use. I think I'm going to go with this one. So I'll just drag that onto my space station and then make it slightly blurred, just so that this makes it more realistic. So now I'm adding a light filter and putting that on there just so it makes it look like there's flashing lights in the background. and I'm just fiddling around with the opacity and the different types of filters just to see which looks the most realistic. Okay, so now that I've got my background lights figured out, what I'm going to do is drag a colour correcting filter onto Becca's face. And because I need to make her skin blue, I'm just going to fiddle around with the different options until I get something that I like. Okay, this looks good, so now I'm just going to edit the general exposure of her face and just make it a little bit darker, just so the lighting's a bit more dramatic. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding the same lights filter onto Becca's face, so it really looks like she's there and in that environment, and there's lights that are flashing on her. So again, I'm just going to pick what sort of filter I want and change the opacity. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is merge all of my clips into one. And now the last thing that I'm going to do is put another colour correcting filter over the whole thing and open that up, and then I'm going to look at the presets and just have a look through the different ones, and then I eventually decided that this is the one that I like best, but I just need to make it a little bit brighter. And that's my finished shot.